Hey, what is up guys, this is Thunderstruck115, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I know I am, because I'm finally hit the payment threshold to get some ad revenue from YouTube deposited into my bank account. And what better way to keep up that good feeling by making another video to harvest ad revenue from. So the video we're going to be taking a look at comes from a user by the name of Treyllo, and the title of the video is COD Zombies Sad Current State. Basically, he goes over the rise of COD Zombies, and then he talks about the fall with games like Black Ops 4, Cold War, and Vanguard. And at first glance, nothing seems to be too wrong with this take, because I think most people would agree that, especially with games like Cold War and Vanguard, that COD Zombies ain't exactly at the same heights that it was back in the day. But when you listen to what this dude's arguments actually are, they are incredibly hypocritical, as he'll often list something as a reason why games like Black Ops 2 and 3 were great, but then later say that it's a bad thing when Black Ops 4 or Cold War does it. As such, I can't structure my response to this video in the same way that I usually do. Usually I just start from the beginning, stop occasionally to give my commentary, and just go until the end of the video. Problem is, a lot of the issues with the Rise section don't really become apparent until we get to the Fall section where I can expose the hypocrisy. And under my normal structure, we'd basically just be watching his 4 to 5 minute section on the Rise without much interruption, which I feel like would poorly pace my video. So instead, I'm gonna just start with the Fall section, and then I'll play clips from the Rise as they become relevant. So if you feel like I'm taking anything out of context, I'll leave a link to the original video in the description. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this shit.
With zombies for the first time, instead of taking a step forward, taking a step to the side. Black Ops 4 dropped with 3 maps, making it a pretty content-heavy game to start off with.
We're not even 10 seconds into the start of this section, and we're already running into issues. No, Black Ops 4 had 4 maps at launch, not 3. Voyage of Despair, 9, Blood of the Dead, and Classified. He might have been referring to the amount of maps that were on the disc, but he didn't specify as such.
Problem is that 2 of these 3 maps were under a new storyline called the Chaos Story, which had no involvement at all with the usual crew that we love to play as.
I'm just gonna say this right now, most people do not care about the story in Call of Duty Zombies. Why? Because the COD Zombies story has honestly been complete fucking shit ever since Black Ops 2, yet that hasn't deterred people from liking these games at all. Sure, there might be a few people that like to dig into the lore, but most people are just here for the fucking gameplay. As such, I'm just gonna speed past the rest of the story section because I really don't give a shit.
They also completely botched the perk system. Like, I don't even know what the fuck they were going for here. No Juggernaut in Zombies? Did they really still expect positive reviews? The perks in Zombies are just as iconic as Zombies itself. It's a staple for the survival elements that the game mode represents. And them getting rid of that, along with our characters, really took the connection away from Zombies again.
No, they didn't fucking get rid of the perks, they just changed up the way the perks worked. Also, really dude, you're gonna say that this entire perk system is bad because they got rid of Juggernog? You know, never mind the fact that Jug was clearly a crutch pick and that it just always clogged up one of your 4 perk slots, and that by getting rid of Jug it was freeing up the perk slots. That way the perks you choose are based on what you want rather than on what you need, but nope. I mean, hell, this dude could have brought up the fact that them removing Jug and then not replacing it with a different kind of health upgrade hurt the progression since you spawn with max health and that makes the early rounds a bit easier. I mean, at least that way he'd have an actual argument against the game, but instead he decides to go the whole nostalgia route.
But Black Ops 4 did something way more detrimental than just have some bad maps and a poor perk system.
I'm sorry, did I completely miss the part where you went over why you thought these maps were bad? Because so far you've only talked about the story and how the perk system is solely bad because of the lack of Juggernog and nothing else. And before you ask, no, it was not part of the sections that I skipped over. I mean, I guess maybe Blood of the Dead isn't really all that good, but I thought Voyage of Despair was a good map. Meanwhile, 9 and Classified are really fucking good.
The game remapped the entire gameplay loop of Zombies. You see, for years, Zombies was simply about being dropped into a map and you forced to survive for however long you could using the map's mechanics and specialities. If you wanted to complete the Easter egg, sure, you could do that, but there was hardly any pressure to go down that path if you didn't want to.
And that is also true in Black Ops 4. The whole point of the game is about surviving, and if you want to do the main Easter egg, you can, but you don't fucking have to.
Black Ops 4 turned a zombie survival mode into a zombie campaign mode.
You've got to be fucking kidding me, dude. If you want to see what a zombies campaign mode looks like, look at fucking Nightmares from Black Ops 3. You're not progressing through a linear sequence of levels with defined endpoints. This is literally a fucking horde survival mode with multiple different levels for you to choose from. Yeah, you might have some extra content in the form of the main and side Easter eggs, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still, at its heart, a zombie survival game.
The maps in Black Ops 4 were almost pointless to play, not even worth your time if you weren't trying to progress towards the Easter egg and complete the objectives. On one of the Black Ops 4 maps, like Dead of the Night, there was literally zero way you were ever going to pack-a-punch on this map unless you searched up a tutorial on YouTube.
While I will agree that Death of the Night's Pack-a-Punch quest is way too obscure, that's one map out of 8. Besides, you can't even do the main Easter egg on Death of the Night until after you've unlocked Pack-a-Punch. Which is actually something that's true for most main Easter eggs in COD Zombies. Besides, it's not like this is the first instance of this, as we had maps like Transit and Mob of the Dead in Black Ops 2, or Shadows of Evil and Zetsubo no Shima in Black Ops 3, which all had pretty complicated Pack-a-Punch quests that I guarantee most people are gonna need a guide for. But what does he have to say about those maps?
Not only that, but some of the Black Ops 2 maps were literally godsend, okay? All of them had something that made it addicting to come back to, whether it was the Hell's Retriever on Mob of the Dead, the Staffs on Origins, the Hovering Gun on Buried. All Black Ops 2 maps felt truly handcrafted. Every room, every area. Like, I know the map design team had to be on some type of psychedelics when coming up with this bullshit. But in 2015, Black Ops 3 did absolutely everything right. I mean, everything. I personally thought Black Ops 3 was going to be a flop when I saw it only had Shadows of Evil as the release map, but it turned out that Shadows of Evil was complete fire and hands down one of the best launch maps Zombies has ever had.
It's weird how you're trying to throw maps like Dead of the Night under the bus for being way too complicated when you completely ignore the fact that other maps in previous Zombies games also have pretty complicated Pack-a-Punch quests. Sounds to me like you need to learn how to
keep that same energy.
The map had almost no content if you weren't pushing the boss fight. And the map had almost no content if you weren't pushing the boss fight.
In my time as being a Zombies fan, I have heard several people complain that Dead of the Night has too much content, and that it makes the map too complicated, and that's why they don't like it. Which, to be clear, I still think is a stupid fucking argument. But I think this is the first instance that I've ever heard a motherfucker claim that Dead of the Night doesn't have enough content. Like, how the fuck are you gonna say that this map has no content on it when you literally have the shield, the silver bullets, the steak knife, Alistair's Folly, both of its upgrades, the Savage Impaler, the Fire Trap cores, not to mention the music Easter eggs. Like, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds like plenty of fucking content to me. And literally everything I just mentioned can be obtained even if you're not doing the main Easter egg. Seriously, if Dead of the Night is your definition of barely having content, then what the fuck do you call every map in World at War, every map in Black Ops 1, and hell, let's throw in the maps in Black Ops 2 and 3 as well, because this is the same structure they had.
And this applied to a lot of the Black Ops 4 maps. They were simply too hard to play if you weren't looking up shit on YouTube for almost every map. You just weren't gonna have a fun time, and Zombies should have never gotten that complicated.
Okay, first of all, this completely contradicts the statement you made not even 5 fucking seconds ago where you said that these maps don't have enough content unless you're going for the boss fight, and now you're saying that they're too complicated. Like, dude, make up your fucking mind. Second of all, the side content that is on these maps are completely fucking optional. Like, if you don't want to get the Savage Impaler, you don't have to. Don't want to get the Ray Gun Mark II upgrades on Alpha Omega? Don't have to. Don't want to get the Exalted God Hands on Ancient Evil? You don't have to. But if you want to do it, it's extra content for those that want to go for it. However, things like guns, perks, power, and Pack-a-Punch, those are all pretty easy to figure out on most of the maps in Black Ops 4, again, the exception being Dead of the Night, and maybe Blood of the Dead. And third of all, you said that it shouldn't have ever gotten this complicated, and yet I never heard you say anything about this when talking about Black Ops 2 and 3, because that's where this shit first started. You know, at least when most people talk about how they don't like the more complicated style of zombies, they're at least consistent with it and pointing out games like Black Ops 2, 3, and 4, but this dude's singling out Black Ops 4 when, really, you should be pointing the finger at Black Ops 2 for starting this trend. I mean, hell, you even say yourself.
Black Ops 2 was no joke either. This game made the necessary jumps and innovations that kept zombies fresh, while also, most importantly, maintaining its charm. Things like a moving bus on transit, more engaging and complex Easter eggs, keeping items in the fridge, keeping money in the bank, the additions of craftable weapons. Not only that, but some of the Black Ops 2 maps were literally godsend, okay? All of them had something that made it addicting to come back to, whether it was the Hell's Retriever on Mob of the Dead, the staffs on Origins, the hovering gun on Buried. Maps like the Rising Drac and Garad Crovy were just insane, man. Both the craftable weapons on those maps and the Easter eggs for them were insane. Both the craftable weapons on those maps and the Easter eggs for them were insane.
Oh, you know, when Black Ops 2 and 3 have a lot of complicated Easter egg steps and things to do on the maps, oh, take all my fucking money. But when Black Ops 4 dares to do the same thing, all of a sudden we gotta raise the pitchforks and torches at it. See, I often get labeled as a Black Ops 4 Zombies fanboy, which, to be fair, I can't say that title is entirely undeserved, but at the same time, when the people that are the most vocal about hating on Black Ops 4 Zombies are making arguments as stupid and hypocritical as fucking this, can you really blame me?
The maps in the game should never feel dry because you don't know how to do a puzzle. And this was obviously their intention too, because on the main menu of the game, it was displayed how many times you completed the Easter egg for a map, showing that the completion of the map was a big part of what the developers wanted the average player to do. It was clear that survival was an afterthought in Black Ops 4. This had to be an objective-based game mode.
So because Treyarch decided it would be cool to track how many times you complete the main Easter egg and show it to you on the map select screen, that means that that's suddenly the main focus of Zombies? Like, holy shit, this motherfucker is so dumb. Because on that exact same stat screen that he showed, it also shows you what your highest fucking round is, which by his own logic would mean that that's the main focus of the game.
Now, don't get me wrong, Black Ops 4 Zombies was not terrible, and it wasn't the worst zombie installment in the franchise. In fairness, the game was at a massive disadvantage due to the hype built up for it because of how good the last 3 Zombies games were. It didn't help that Black Ops 4's multiplayer was also complete shit, so people naturally had to put a little bit more attention on the Zombies game mode, leading to a lot more hate.
No, the reason for that was because Zombies was fucking busted when this shit first launched. Granted, not as bad as Cold War, but still. Also, hot take, but Black Ops 4's multiplayer actually wasn't bad. Like, yeah, it had a lot of issues and it is nowhere near the best, but I thought it was pretty fun overall.
But overall, this had been a misstep for Treyarch Zombies. But one misstep, one bad game doesn't bring down the whole tower, right? But 2 missteps? Cold War Zombies. This game was the reason we lost everything. Like I had said earlier, BO4 was a step to the side.
You know, it's funny you say that because not even 20 seconds ago you said it was a bad game, but what the fuck can you do about that one, man? Gotta learn to
Keep that same energy.
But Cold War, this shit was a leap of faith backwards. Game only dropped with 1 map, okay? Which happens to be one of the smallest Zombies maps ever made. I'm talking smaller than almost every map in Black Ops 1. But goddamn it, I wish the map being small was the biggest problem. Cold War Zombies was literally multiplayer, okay? With zombies pasted in it.
Oh my fucking god. Like earlier this dude was saying that Black Ops 4 Zombies was the campaign with zombies pasted in it, and now he's saying that Cold War Zombies is the multiplayer with zombies pasted in it. What's next? Fucking Vanguard Zombies is Spec Ops with zombies pasted in it? Modern Warfare 3 Zombies is fucking Extinction with zombies pasted in it? Like, what the fuck? You're not fighting other players like you are in multiplayer. It's still a wave-based survival game. Well, assuming you're actually playing the round-based maps and not the absolute travesty that is known as Outbreak. Yeah, I have more than my fair share of issues with Cold War's gameplay, but that's beside the point.
No longer did the game mode feel separate. They felt like one. Black Ops 4 at least had maps that looked zombified, okay? That looked scary and different. This was obviously a zombies map. But Cold War could have just been a location from a campaign mission converted into zombies.
You know, it's funny because I often hear people bitch and moan about zombies reusing assets from other parts of the game, when literally a lot of the zombies maps are literally directly ripped from the campaign or multiplayer of older Call of Duty games, like in World at War and Black Ops 1 in particular. Like Nocturne Toten, which funnily enough, during the Nocturne Toten part of Die Machine, that was ripped from a building from the mission Hard Landing in the campaign and the airfield map from the multiplayer. Verrückt was taken from the Asylum in the mission Ring of Steel, as well as the multiplayer map Asylum. Shin Onuma reused shit from Semper Fi, as well as the map Macon. Der Riese was literally a modified version of the multiplayer map Nightfire. 5 was taken from the fucking campaign levels Rebirth and USDD. Ascension was taken from Executive Order. The ship on Call of the Dead was taken from Project Nova. Shangri-La's ship was taken from the Vietnam campaign missions. Area 51 from the map Moon was taken from the Hangar 18 map from the multiplayer. Like, I could keep going on with more examples, but I think y'all get the point. And I'm not saying that the atmosphere of the maps in Cold War Zombies aren't bland, they definitely are, but it's a completely separate fucking issue compared to reusing assets. It doesn't mean that it's suddenly the multiplayer or whatever other bullshit that you want to pull out of your ass.
Oh yeah, and you know playable characters? Fuck that. Now you're just a nameless military operator dropped off in a helicopter. A helicopter, are you kidding me? You could literally spawn in with an assault rifle or an LMG right from the start if you choose. The survival aspects of zombies were completely removed. And
damn dude, you were on a roll there for a bit talking about things like the operators and the fact that you could spawn in with whatever gun you wanted, but then you had to say that they removed the fucking survival elements, which is a complete fucking lie. You're still surviving against round after round of constant waves of the undead. Oh wait, I forgot. This is literally just multiplayer. Never mind.
As if the game didn't already feel like a multiplayer mission, there were literally objective pings on your HUD telling you where to go. Like this is some co-op mission, what the fuck? The vibes were off, the balance was off, and the game mode was ruined. But it's very clear why this happened. Treyarch actually did listen to the criticism from Black Ops 4. They reinstalled the old perk system into the game and expanded Pack-a-Punch in a new way.
No, they created a completely new perk system, different from both the classic perk system and the BO4 perk system, which, while I will say the execution more closely resembles that of the classic games than it does BO4, there's still plenty of differences, much like the pricing model, or the fact that you can literally have every perk at once instead of being limited to just 4, or the fact that you can upgrade said perks with Ethereum crystals. As for the Pack-a-Punch, if anything, they didn't fucking listen to the community in that case, because they went even further in the direction that Black Ops 4 went with its Pack-a-Punch system. In BO4, getting your gun to max damage with the Pack-a-Punch costs 15,000 points. In Cold War, it costs 50,000. If anything, Cold War's Pack-a-Punch system more closely resembles an evolved version of BO4's Pack-a-Punch system more than it does the classic one. Once again, you're fucking wrong.
All things that we asked for. But we had also complained about the maps being too hard in Black Ops 4, too niche, which was true, but Treyarch flipped it to the opposite side of the spectrum. Now these maps were a joke, with the Easter eggs basically being handed to you step by step on a silver platter. All the maps were too easy. Cold War's first map could literally be completed in like 30 minutes. The difficulty was gone. The challenge of the Easter eggs was gone.
Then maybe y'all shouldn't have complained so much about Black Ops 4's Easter egg. I mean, y'all kind of brought this on yourself.
And the survival elements that made zombies so intense was gone. I mean, they literally added an extract feature where you can leave the map at round 10. Let me just radio in my chopper real quick, hop in, and goodbye.
Much like the side quests in the previous games, extraction in Cold War is completely optional. If you don't want to leave the map just yet and you want to keep surviving, don't use the radio to call an extraction. I mean, it's simple as that. Alright, I actually think the rest of this dude's points on Cold War and pretty much every criticism he has of Vanguard is valid, so I'm gonna go ahead and end off the video here. So I guess the moral of the story is, Modern COD Zombies is bad because it does stuff that the previous games did, but it was good there, but bad here for some reason. Yeah, this whole video was just a fucking shit show. I mean, if you want to criticize Black Ops 4 and Cold War, trust me, there is plenty of fucking room to do that, but on pretty much any count that wasn't directly story related, he completely misses the mark. But yeah, that's gonna be about it for this video, so if you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more, and tell me what you think of this clown's take on Call of Duty Zombies. Anyways, that's it. Peace!